What's going on, fellas? You already know who it is. Sexiest man on earth. The ladies know me as the professional pipe layer, and some people know me as Abdiel. So, what's today's topic? So, I've been writing down topics on my notes as they come up throughout the week, and today's topic is going to be building the tension throughout the date. Building the tension and having a love for this game. Having a passion for this game. Do you have a love for this game? Do you have a passion for this game? I do. I'm married to the game. Shorty talking about marriage? Baby, I'm married to the game. I have a passion for this game. Some men are addicted to ruling and some men are addicted to conquering. I get a rush from conquering. For example, right? If you and a chick, if you've smashed her 1,000 times, right? Some guys are cool with that. Some guys can do that for their entire life, right? Some guys can smash a chick. If I've smashed a chick over 1,000 times, I don't know if this has happened to you, but this happens to me. I'll smash a chick 1,000 times, and she's asking me, oh, are you just not attracted to me anymore? Because, I'm not doing it as much as I did when I first started. And, most guys would die to fucking get a crumb of that pussy. But I'm just, And it's not that she's ugly. It's not that she's unattractive. You're still sexy. Everything about you is great. But it's just like, there's no conquering, right? There's no thrill. There's no, I have to work for this. And I'm not saying that I'm going to work for a woman, but you understand what I'm saying. Building the tension. There's just something that nothing can match it. It's just so peak to see a woman, lay your eyes on a woman for the very first time, right? See a woman for the very first time. You guys make eye contact. She's a beautiful woman. I know I'm looking sexy. Next thing you know, I'm walking up to her on some confident shit, introducing myself. She's like, what's going on? Where did this come from, right? Next thing you know, I'm introducing myself, giving her my number. Next thing you know, I'm planning a date. I'm already showing leadership from the very start. I'm approaching her. I'm coming up to her. I'm not waiting for her. I'm showing her I go after what I want, baby. Guess what? You don't even have to set up anything. You don't got to do nothing. I got you. I'm going to set up the date. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. Just show up, look pretty, right? As we're texting, you're building the tension, you're flirting, you're joking around, you're keeping it light, keeping it playful, keeping it flirtatious, and over time that tension is building. And it's like there's just something about conquering, right? Because there's a difference between ruling and conquering. Conquering, for example, ruling, for example, is you have a girlfriend, you're a ruler, you've had this woman for a long time and you're like, this is my woman, you feel good from ruling. But then there's guys like me who just feel good from conquering. It's like you have the unknown. Like you're building the tension with this woman and you don't know if you're going to smash. You don't know if it's going to go there. But as a man, you got to have control over your sexual desires. Because if you as a man don't have control over your sexual desires, then you're not going to be able to build the tension the same way that I can build the tension with a woman. Because just because you got the woman doesn't mean you got the same version of the woman that another man got. Because another man can get some pussy, but he didn't get the whole woman. Because a man who builds the tension is a man who has control over his sexual urges. And not only does he get the pussy, but he gets her mind. She's always thinking about him. He's up here, rent free, always thinking about him. That's what building the tension is all about. Building the tension is about having her thinking about you to the point where she wants it, to the point where she's thinking about it. And when you have control over your sexual urges, you're not rushing, right? You can go on a date. I can go on a date and I'm not looking to fuck the very first time. Sure, I find her sexually attractive. Yeah, I have had thoughts in my head of what my meat would look inside of her mouth. Yeah, I've had that thought. But I also have control over my sexual urges. So I'm not going to let that get the best of me and act all fucking thirsty, because I understand that it's better when you take it slow and you build the tension. Because when I get with a woman, I don't just want to fuck and that's it. No, I want to have her mind. I want to have her mind first. Because guess what? if you try to go for what's in between her legs, if you try to go for the pussy, then guess what? You're going to fail because you don't have her mind. You don't have her mind. But if you go for the mind, guess what comes with the mind? The body, the pussy, everything. Everything. You'll have a woman doing things she's never done before with you. Why? Because you have her mind. And this is just why I love the game. I have a passion for this game. And you just got to understand that everything I'm telling you, if you just listen and apply it and pay attention, guess what? You're going to see results too. Now, I'm not saying that this is just going to work if you're fat as hell and you're just ugly and you're just chopped. Like, you have to work on the physical too as well, because it's the same thing as if you go to Chick-fil-A, they're selling you a product. In this world, you are the salesman. You are selling yourself. You are the product. The woman is the buyer. You as a man have to be able to communicate and convey the value as to why she should choose you over all these other guys, right? And also, the product, the presentation must be there. You must look nice. You got to maximize whatever it is that you have. So if you are fat, get in shape. Start tracking your calories. Start working out. So that way you can be in shape. If you have acne, start working on your skincare. If you don't get a haircut, start getting a haircut. If you don't smell good, start smelling good. And then the next thing you know, you start applying everything that I'm telling you. And I'm telling you it works. I had a chick recently tell me after she found my YouTube videos that my methods work. She's like, this shit works, right? She's watching these videos, and after she's had meat in her mouth, she's realized this shit works, right? And it's not about tricking a woman or any of that, right? It's just about understanding the art of seduction, understanding how to seduce a woman, understanding and having a love for the game, and knowing how to build the tension. That's why when a lot of these incels talk about looks maxing and looks money status, you're not going to get the same woman that I'll get, right? Because I've been dead broke. I've been dead broke with nothing at all. And guess what? Still got a woman to do all the things in the world that a guy with looks, money, and status, he could probably get some pussy out of her, right? Because she knows how to play the game. She knows how to play him. She knows that he's controlled by his dick. So she's going to give him some pussy so that way he feels like the man because he doesn't have any control over himself. And now she can get access to the money, right? But when you as a man understand that it's about building the tension, it's about building that tension. Because when you're thinking with your dick and you're rushing and you're trying to get in her pants so bad, you're going to go out like a goofy. You're going to go out sad. You're going to go out looking stupid because you're trying so hard to get something and she's just not thinking about you. You're just not on her mind, right? Like, I've been the guy who has had women in my bedroom, and there's other guys, with more money than me, more status than me, better car than me, all this other shit. And, they're trying, and it's just not going anywhere, right? Why? Because they're not understanding that you got to get in her mind first. So as a man, if you are the type of man who loves this, you love this game. You have a passion for this game. You love conquering. You're not the type that's just okay with ruling. Like, yeah, ruling is cool and everything, it's nice to have a woman fully submitted to you, but it's just something about conquering, the art of the unknown, like not knowing what can happen, but building towards it. You go on a date, you're texting, you're making it in a way to where you're leading it to where it's sexual. That's what a lot of guys don't understand. A lot of guys be texting women on, oh, what you doing? What you doing? What you doing? She's fucking bored of your ass, bro. She doesn't need a motherfucker to check up on her every fucking 2 hours and ask her what she's doing. You think that's going to get her pussy wet? What gets her pussy wet is you as a man leading her. You're leading her somewhere. Seduction is not pushing someone to do something. It's pulling them towards you. That's what you need to understand. It's about positioning yourself in places where she wants to come to you, right? I was recently on a date, and, first date, didn't crack. Second date, it was getting a little spicy. And Shorty was saying, my hormones can't handle this, right? Like, why are you doing this? My hormones can't. Next thing you know, one thing led to another. Let's just say, what happened. But as you can see, she wanted it. She got to the point where she wanted it, and she was basically begging me for it. And it's the same thing with any woman that I meet. It's always going to be that way. It's always going to be that way because I'm never going to be the one that's positioning myself to be thirsty as hell for what she has in between her legs, because I don't need that. Sure, I'm sexually attracted to this woman and I enjoy that, but I don't need it because I have control over my sexual desires. And the stem of where this problem starts from is a lot of guys are addicted to porn. A lot of guys are addicted to choking the chicken, to beating their meat, right? So they don't have any control over themselves. And that comes from a biological urge. That's why every man must go on a journey of semen retention and retaining for a certain amount of time. I'm not saying you have to do it for your entire life, but you got to have a period in your life where you understand what it is to control yourself and control your mind and not be controlled by your urges. Because urges, if they control you, then you are a weak man. You don't have no control over your mind. You're just drifting in this world. Women control you by your dick. You get controlled by OnlyFans women. You get controlled by your wife, by your girlfriend. If she threatens to leave, oh no, I'm going to be in a drought. There is no such thing as a drought. That's what you need to understand. The guys who think in this mind frame of a drought, it's like, there is no such thing as a drought. A drought implies that you need pussy, right? And it all stems from the fact that a lot of guys nowadays, and listen, I'm not talking about this as if I've never been a gooner. I was a high-ranking gooner. Like, I'm talking about if there was a Mount Rushmore with the faces of the 4 top gooners, my face would probably be on there. I'm talking about when I was in 7th grade and I was in Puerto Rico, my teacher had an ass so fat that I couldn't control myself. I was addicted to porn. I had to go to the bathroom and rub one off in the urinal because her ass was just so fat. And my little 7th grade self, I was like, yo, I can't control this. I'm sorry, ma'am, but I gotta go to the restroom. Ma'am, can I go to the restroom? I gotta beat my meat. I gotta bust one. So I'm not sitting here saying that I was never a gooner. I grew up on that shit. If anyone was gooning more than anyone, it was me. I was beating my meat. I had the crustiest of crustiest socks. And yeah, that might be too much information, but I don't give a fuck. This is real, raw talk. I'm a real motherfucker. I just say it how it is. And let's be honest, you probably have a crusty sock too. And if you have a crusty sock at this age, at fucking past 16, what the fuck are you doing? You got a crusty sock? Bro, control yourself. So I've been through that. But I also went on a journey to learning how to retain. And it really taught me a lot. It taught me a lot of self-control. Because when you learn how to retain and you don't have to give in to that sexual urge to bust one out every single time you feel like it, every single time you feel like going on the hub, you have to go on the hub. Guess what? Once you master that, you can do anything you want in this life. You can do anything. If you're fat and you want to get shredded, 9 times out of 10, if you don't have control over your sexual desires, you're never going to do it. It's always going to be hard. But the moment that you get control over your sexual desires, it's going to be nothing because you start to understand how this world works. So the reason why a lot of guys are controlled by their dicks and are controlled by their sexual urges, it's a biological urge inside of us. Because your seed is the one thing on this earth that can create a life. It's the one thing on this earth. Nothing else on this earth can create a human life except for your seed. And meanwhile, you're sitting there busting it out every single day. Your brain doesn't know the difference whether this is your brain, your subconscious mind does not understand that you're just busting one out to a video It thinks, okay, this guy completed the mission. Because in reality, we're here to complete one mission, and that mission is to reproduce. And people might say that, no, we have different purposes. Sure, we have different purposes, but our one true purpose is to reproduce. And that's why sexual energy is the strongest energy, because we're put on this earth to reproduce. So of course we're going to get horny. Of course we're going to want to fuck. It is what it is. That's what we're put on this earth to do, right? But nowadays it's done recreationally. Back in the days, the purpose is to recreate. It's not just recreational for fun, right? So when you're sitting there and every time you have that urge, every time you have that desire, you have to bust one out, then guess what? You're a weak man. You're a weak man. So start learning how to retain, because the moment that you learn how to retain, guess what? Every time you have that urge and you go on a long streak, I'm talking about 100 days, 200 days, 300 days. The most I've probably done is, I don't know, probably like 200 or close to either 100 or 200 days, around there, right? A long time. And you just learn a lot, because every time you have that urge, you control your mind. You don't let your mind control you. You don't let your urges control you. You notice the urge, you see the urge, and you choose what to do. You understand how strong and how powerful that makes you? That makes you strong in everything in life. If you want to go from fat to shredded, if you learn how to control your mind that way, to where you have the urge to want to eat a snack, but you say, no, I see that, I see the urge, I see the weak version of myself coming up and trying to bring me down into a lower version of myself, but I'm not going to choose to go down that route. I'm going to choose to go down the route that strengthens me, the route that makes me a better man, right? So that's what you need to do. You need to go on a journey of learning how to retain, and then you're going to regain that motivation. Then you're going to regain that self-control, to where a woman doesn't control your life. And that's going to help you in building the tension, because when you go on a date with a woman, you're not thirsty. You're not thirsty. A lot of guys, they go on a date with a woman and they're thirsty, and that's what ends up killing the attraction. That's what ends up killing the tension, because you seem like you've never had any pussy in years. It's like, this guy has never had any pussy. Why is he so pressed? Why is he so thirsty? We've only known each other for one day. He can't wait 24 hours? And your date probably lasted 5 or 6 hours. He can't wait 5 or 6 hours. He can't control himself for that much. That lets her know how much of a weak man you are. But when you have control over your sexual urges, you don't have to rush. You don't have to rush, right? And if you're a smooth guy, if you're sexy, I mean, you might not be sexier than me. I'm sorry, twin. That's just the truth. But, if you're a handsome, good-looking guy, you're funny, you know how to make a woman laugh. You know what they say? If you can make a woman laugh and giggle, you can make them booty cheeks clap and jiggle. Can I get an amen, brother? Yes, sir. And you have control over your sexual urges, she's going to end up wanting it. She is going to end up wanting it more than you. And then when you're in the bedroom and it's time, right? There's just that is so peak. That is just so peak. The moment when it's the very first time. You've never done it before. You don't know if she's going to suck your meat or not. You don't know if you're going to fuck. You're in the bed, but you just don't know just yet. And the next thing you feel is her tongue on your meat. And it's just like, that's peak. That's peak. And that's why I just have a love for the game. I have a love for the game. I'm not a ruler. I'm a conqueror. Okay? So if you're a conqueror as well, learn how to build attention. Learn how to have control over your sexual urges. And learn how to make a woman think about you when you're not around. The moment you can get a woman to think about you when you're not around, guess what? You can have everything. She's willingly going to give you everything. I'm telling you, twin. Just listen to me, pay attention, and apply that shit. Let me know how that shit works down below. Leave your thoughts down below. Drop a like, subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.